Robin is here. I think it just takes a while. Hey!
Hey, can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. We're just
Yeah.
talking about how our weekend is going, how it's what we're going to do. So, what are you going to do this weekend?
Honestly, I can't wait to sleep in and do absolutely nothing. But
Hell, that's good.
yeah,
Do
but
you have, you don't have kids, do you? I don't know. Do you have
seven,
kids?
seven.
You have seven kids?
No, I'm just joking. Uh,
Oh, I was like, you
no,
poor boy, you're not getting any sleep.
no, I don't have kids. I have a dog, and that kind of feels like you know, a kid in itself. That feels like the modern version of having a kid. Is adopting a dog.
Well, I have two. So I would,
Two kids or two dogs?
well, actually, I have two dogs, a cat, two kids. So my life is, yeah.
Yeah, that
And then I went subbing, so I started becoming a substitute teacher, so I could be in the same school as my kids, and then just like be able to take them home and just be on the same schedule. Because I went from like corporate America to this, and it's really no difference.
that's good. I'm in corporate America right now, so
Mhm.
I'm in corporate America right now, and I know that urge to leave, and especially when you have a creative outlet like poetry, there's always that thought in the back of your head that you want to do this full time. You want to do just poetry, but it's hard.
It's almost like it's a dream, but I think so. What do you do in corporate America?
I work in cybersecurity.
Cybersecurity. Okay. So, but you could take some business, like for me, what I'm doing is like I come from marketing in business. That's what I used to do, and user experience on apps, but I'm kind of trying to take that stuff and put it to my book and be kind of like different with it. But we'll see if it even works. Like, it's a long shot because I think only like maybe I think it's like maybe 0.01 or something of the population even reads poetry.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's not very encouraging.
Yeah, but it kind of feels like a exclusive club in a sense. Like when you do meet other people that enjoy poetry, you know it's a certain type of person that you can relate to and get along with.
That's true. So we're more rich in friends than we are in money.
Exactly. It's quantity, quality over quantity.
Quality over okay. Well, I mean, in the end, you can't take your jewels to the grave.
Yeah. Can't take your poems either, but
Well, they can live on.
I was just thinking that. Yeah.
Yeah,
That,
gotcha. Okay. So, all right. So, first, for everybody in the audience that's here, the 8 people that are here, which like 2 or 3 of them are going to jump in and out. I know it. But for the ones that are here, here's kind of like how we're going to do it. So, some of you submitted your work to hashtag filter free poetry. Anytime during this that you want to submit your work, go ahead because we will read it, or I will read it. You can read it if you'd like, and then so that'll be at the end of the show. And then I'm gonna ask you a few questions, just kind of get to know you and your work, and then we'll do some poetry time. You and I will kind of go back and forth. Now that you're in corporate America, have you read my corporate crime series?
no, never.
Have you read my topless conga poem?
Was that a while back? Or,
It's about like an office.
I
It's
do.
this office satire.
Yeah, I feel like I'm maybe one of the few people that could relate to, poetry in the corporate world.
I've shifted everything now. That's what I'm going. I'm going to read that later. But so to start, so we know that you're in cybersecurity, and your background is that your entire background? Did you do anything before that?
Uh,
This
yeah,
isn't a job interview. I just it kind of sounded like it.
no. Well, I guess I could kind of, give, if people are interested, it's kind of a history. Well, I started writing when I was like 16, so I was in high school, and I started because I don't know if anybody watched Def Jam Poetry. So YouTube was kind of newish back then. This is way back in maybe like 2008 or something like that. But uh, Def Jam Poetry, I saw it on YouTube, fell in love with it, started writing poetry, and it was always kind of this like hobby, something I do to express myself and something I do for myself, but never something serious. So I went to college, did economics and poli sci, worked in consulting, kind of followed that career path of making money and higher salary and corporate ladder. And
Mhm.
yeah, it just kind of, I feel like I've had these parallel paths of corporate life where I worked in I graduated and then I started working corporate life, but I've always done poetry on the side.
Well, so okay, cool. That's a pretty. You're hired.
Perfect. Although I do try to keep it separate, that the corporate life and the poetry life. You
Do
know,
you find that hard? I felt like when I was in corporate America, that was a really hard thing to do because people find out and they're like, "Oh, she just wrote a poem about sex," and then I have to hear about it. So I try to keep really hush hush about it. Do you do that? Are you open to everybody?
no. Well, my real name isn't Robin. Robin is the name I use for poetry. So I keep, I kind of try to keep my real name and my poetry name separate, and then that's why I was. I'm sure I'm not keeping it top secret, but if someone like finds my resume and they Google my name, this doesn't come up, if that makes sense. So that's how I've kind of kept it separate.
Yeah, that's smart. I
Everyone,
didn't put my last name in there. I just did melissa.k.c. Um, I think it was for me, it was like a mix of like I had a couple friends there, and I'm like, I just wrote this cool thing, go look at it, and then they go and tell everybody. So I made the mistake of doing that. But okay, so you said you were been writing from a young age. So what made you pick up the pen and start writing?
yeah, I've been thinking about that recently. I think um, it wasn't anything. It wasn't like I fell in love with writing right from the beginning, so to speak. I feel like for guys, things have definitely changed more recently. But when I was growing up, it makes me sound like this is like forever ago. But things have changed so fast that even 10 years ago, it kind of felt like guys, males specifically, didn't have a lot of tools to express themselves. It kind of felt like, the guys were always the jocks. You talk about sports or you would talk about girls and then that's it. You never talk about your emotions. You never talk about what's going on at home or maybe what you're struggling with. You never ever talk about anxiety or depression, which I know I struggle with. I know my friends struggle with, and we just never talked about it. And I found writing at Def Jam Poetry I watched on YouTube, and it was guys talking about their problems in this kind of masculine way that I kind of related to, and it kind of felt like, oh shit, this kind of feels like you know good for me, and that's how I kind of
Yeah,
started, if that makes sense.
yeah, that does. It's very unfortunate that that's the way you think it's still like that, or do you think it's changed?
Yeah, I think it depends where. Like I feel like in cities, maybe like Seattle, New York, LA, they change pretty quickly, and I think they changed to the point that things there's a lot more resources. It's not as closed-minded, so to speak. You guys can kind of speak their emotions without being called like a wimp or something like that, or it's not as closed-minded, I would say. But I think in other parts of the country or all across the world, it's definitely still like that. I mean, I haven't been in school forever, so I don't know. I just from what I see in movies and TV, and it kind of feels like the world's becoming a little bit more accepting of mental health generally, and with that comes guys being able to express their emotions for once.
That makes me think. So I don't know if you saw, but I'm starting like a mental health and art kind of live next. So that would be a really good topic to do. Going to start at probably May to June. Is that men and mental health? Like normalize men and mental health. Like you shouldn't. I mean, I say for me, probably I could like take it back a few steps because I'm just like expressive, you know. But yeah, I have two boys, so they, you know, to tell them, hey, it's okay to cry sometimes. Sometimes they overcry, but
Yeah,
but
no, there's a boundary.
yes,
That's something that I've always wanted to work on in the future, and then something that always, I guess, informed what I write about or why I do things or why I keep trying to push my craft is the fact that men's mental health always felt like a taboo topic and felt like, especially from the world I came from, which is immigrants to the United States, more traditional culture. You just didn't really talk about your emotions, your problems, and it's very isolating. You didn't really have anyone to turn to, and I'm hoping we can kind of change that direction.
yeah, I am too. I think it's important for men, boys, you know, to be able to talk about their mental health. I feel like, well, for me, like I found out I was bipolar like 3 years ago, and I got on like a, you know, treatment plan and whatnot. But for the longest time, I was like ashamed and didn't want to tell. Even as a woman, I didn't want to because it's such a stigma. It's like, oh, they're crazy, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, really? It's like, yeah, I'm on my medicine. I have counseling. Like, I started poetry because I got on this medication.
Mm.
I wasn't a poet before this. So like to me, it's like it like opened up. It's like finally my brain was like quiet and I could hear like, you know, what it is I was supposed to be. It was all coming together better. So then I wrote my first poem like 2 months after. But
That's awesome. No, I mean, mental health and poetry definitely feel like they're kind of, aligned and similar for me. Like, I was taking like antidepressants, they would call it, or SSRIs,
mhm.
anti prescriptions for the first time. And even saying that to my friends or family felt like, like a big stage in my life, just like admitting that I was taking them felt like a big thing. So I definitely feel you there.
Yeah, I don't understand. It's like the more people hide it, it just makes the whole society worse. So yeah, that's kind of my thing with what I want to do is in the next episodes is kind of just like normalize it. Like it's okay.
Yeah,
It's okay.
that's one of my dreams too, and that's why I try to. I don't even do it on purpose, to be honest, but I write. Like I have this poem that I wrote about anxiety attacks and or panic attacks, and that's why I try to just keep writing about those kind of topics and hoping that people read about it and either feel not as alone or feel that they could express themselves also on those kind of topics.
You should on the
Oh,
second slide, you know, you can do two slides. You should, yes, Zoloft for life. That's my sister.
I
Her and
think
I
I,
are both in Zoloft.
think I have that right here. So yeah, that's funny.
uh, yeah, Zoloft's, you know, my sister, Zoloft help. That's one of my take. I forgot what I was going to say. But anyway, see what else do I got here? Oh, I remember what I was going to say. On the second slide of your poem, so you have, I know how you usually do like, you know, the text. Sometimes you'll speak. Obviously, it's spoken word. The next one you should do, and I'm a dude. Just,
Health awareness. Yeah. Something.
yeah, like it's okay. I write poetry. And then like you could have that like tattoo or something with like a heart that says poetry or like mental health or something like that.
Yeah. Well,
Things
I,
that come to my head.
I mean, I have my page, Robin Spoken Word, and I have the other page, Missing Frames, where I don't show my face. It's just quotes with my friend Keizu, his photography, and so often people are like, "Oh my God, you're a guy." I get that all the time. Even sometimes on my page, like they'll see just the slide or poetry, and they'll think it's a girl, and then like they'll message me or they'll see my profile picture after and be like, "Oh, you're a guy who writes this." So maybe I do need to put a disclaimer that's like,
Just at the bottom, this is a dude.
and Robin, both names, are
Yeah.
sides. So
Yeah, I've talked to a couple male poets, even on here, and it is a thing, definitely. So you're not alone. Okay, so I absolutely love your spoken word. It's
Thank you.
like mesmerizing. I'm interested to know, like, what is your typical poetic process? Where do you find inspiration? I think you talked a couple things, but lay it on me.
Yeah, so it's funny because I had the craziest, now that I look back on it, I feel like I had the craziest process of all that I've talked to in just in the beginning because I I used to run a lot. That used to be my like kind of physical expression, and anytime I felt like the world was closing in or I had a lot of anxiety, I had a lot of thoughts that I couldn't work through, depression coming in, and I felt like I needed to write it, but I couldn't just write it. So I would go to the park and I would run, with like emo music or punk rock or something, and I would run like a couple miles, and all that running and the music would kind of put me in the zone, and then I'd sit in the park for like hours and just start writing everything, and then go home and edit it. So in the beginning, a lot of my earlier poems that I still read and people love, it's just funny that I used to only write by running in the park as hard as I can, like crying, as I'm running, like really getting to that,
Perfect.
yeah, and and then
That's perfect.
well,
Yeah.
there's something about that physical aspect to it also. But now I think as I've matured, poetry's just kind of become always in the back of my mind. So I feel like I'll be walking down the street, even like today, I'll be walking down the street and I'll see like a car drive by, and it feels like that reminds me of a memory, and then I'll try to put it into a poem. So it kind of feels like a framework for understanding the world. I genuinely don't think about what inspires me or what I want to write about. It's just kind of like I go through the day, and then random things happen, and then the way I interpret that is poetically. So it's either that was difficult, I need to express it, or that was kind of funny, I wonder if I could write about this in a creative way, or maybe there's something I want to write about that I've been thinking about. So I don't know if that made sense, but
No, it's great. I run too, or driving. Like I used to run a lot more before I had my anxiety kind of under control. I'd love to run still. I only run like 2 miles, but it don't matter. Um, but yeah, so I totally get that. Totally get that. See what we got here. See anybody else comment?
yeah, I
Take it
was
to
interrupting.
Billy.
I just sent hearts back. Uh,
Okay, cool.
to I think that was my friend Samara that just sent that message. And then so it's always funny to me to like do the live and then be scrolling and try to be typing it. It feels like
Oh,
they haven't figured out like some other better way to be able to chat with people and look at the comments and
they
things like
need to have it on desktop, and they don't.
that. Yeah, I agree.
It's kind of stupid. So, um, okay. See, like now I can't get the, no, I don't want to cancel. I can't get the comments out of your face. There you go. Okay. I've been doing this like a ton. I'm getting, or, so, all right. Now the fun part, the work. What do you want to share?
Cool. Well, actually, speaking of, let me see. Since we were just talking about panic attacks and stuff like that, I have one poem that I wrote specifically about uh, having panic. I don't know if that's kind of aggressive to start
Yeah,
with.
do whatever. This is filter free.
It's funny. I don't think I've never read this out loud, so I have no idea what this is gonna
Well,
sound.
exclusive, guys.
Oh
This
man,
is
now
where
I'm nervous.
exclusives live.
In practice this, so this is gonna be my first time reading it out loud as I'm doing it. Ah, as you said, filter free. I guess might as well go for it.
Free. Yep, you're good.
Okay, let's do it. It's called I Awake To. Hi, hello, it's me, the roaring tumble, the dry swallow, peaceful insurrection. Here I come, yo porto lagnape, Remember the last time it was this bad? Forgotten your pills. Someone stole them. You hung me to a paper chain. So here I come, trim beneath the bone, all grit and bark. Hello, hi. Hello, hi. You called for me. I think you did, to see if cobwebs still dance. Maybe I do. Nighttime Macarena. Here I come, foe beneath the charade. Oh my, it's buzzing. It's buzzing. They have entered. Pillagers of the day. They've gotten under my skin and I can't get out. Take my hands, quick. Everything will fade one day. Quickly, it's coiling, coiling. Air's snake, not she that kills, she that strays you to eat. Slither high, say, what did you do? What do you call when all hope is lost, if not progress? Don't look back or at all. The place where you knew, was there, belonging, capsizing to another. Greet me with all your heart, or I will come for that too, and say mercy, and say goodbye, and say the chance for home is coming, gone. Yeah, that was interesting.
Nice. First run? That's great.
Whew. Yeah, that was hard because usually I try to figure out the breath before, and it felt like I wrote it to try to, I guess, mimic like a panic attack where you can't catch your breath and attack.
Yeah, I see that for sure.
Yeah.
Well, now that you did that one, I've got one. It's a little. I'm gonna try and sing it. Every time I sing it, it's just kind of ridiculous, but it's kind of, you'll understand in a minute if I can find it. My internet's being crap. Go ahead and do another one. I'll find it. So.
Yeah, I have one that's a little bit more, I guess, lighthearted, or not lighthearted, but more positive, not a panic attack one, and hope it doesn't give me an attack. So, for if you want to hear that,
sure, yeah.
Yeah, this one is called Salamon. Aren't your best days when the first words you hear in the morning not a surprise? The days that enter with a jaded good morning. I love you in the form of hello, or even a bark that asks you how you slept. Not the where are yous, the where am I's, the emergencies playing telephone, or the unexpected who are you in your reflection. If you notice yourself too hard in the mornings, you'll get lost in headwinds from generations ago, like a whisper that ripples into speech. A candle held upside down to make body out of wax tells time if you know what to call each hour. Like morning is when light greets you in everybody's language, and it is good if you understand good morning. A wave crashing will always sound like a wave crashing. An ocean opens its mouth to swallow me whole, but I understand. It does not laugh when I pronounce hammock as hammock, or salmon as Solomon, or the ear as crucifixion. The quiet welcomes me like only an immigrant knows, and it is quietest under the ocean. Your language was invented after the wind, the one that pushes the waves forth, the waves that pull, as I hold onto something that will disappear. As I try to keep my cup empty while drowning, no one drowns in an accent, but it can spit shine you if you're not careful. If someone points out when you have grown used to the way you say good morning, one day you will be a day, something for someone to reminisce. Until then, be merciful. Pray the omnipotent speaks a 21st century language and say hello, I am, however you can. The way a tree will grow over a cliff and still be a tree. The way everyone is a poet if you read their body language. The way poetry is the body language of language. My name enters a room with subtitles for when the drowning tongues grow weary. They wash me clean. So clean, in fact, I'm an outline. Until I'm a smooth pebble to be placed upon America's shores. Yeah, there's that one.
So I'm seeing a lot of kind of immigration stuff. You talked about it, like what is the correlation to that? You immigrate from somewhere, or
Yeah, so my family, so my parents are from the Soviet Union, Belarus. When the Soviet Union fell, they moved to Israel, where I was born, and then we immigrated from Israel to Brooklyn, from Brooklyn to New Jersey, which Brooklyn, New Jersey, I guess, was itself an immigration experience, a culture shock. But I don't even mean to talk about that kind of stuff. It just kind of comes out when I guess go to that place. But also
Yeah.
the kind words. I just saw them now, like the wonderful and the beautiful. So I appreciate that. I just wanted to make sure.
Yes. I just love it. So awesome. I love having this show. It's cool.
New Jersey in the house. Hate New
Huh?
Jersey.
My family's from New Jersey.
Do you know where?
I don't know. But it's my grandmother and my great aunts. Um, their parents, Holly, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. It's Friday night. But they immigrated from Norway
Oh,
and Austria.
that's a culture shock to come to New Jersey. But New Jersey,
Yeah.
I feel like everyone in Jersey likes to make fun of New Jersey, and it's just kind of our way of giving it love in a sense, or a way of
She's like, yeah. It's kind of like certain parts of town here. It's like you just make fun of it.
yeah,
It's like, um,
yeah.
let's see.
I should write a poem about New Jersey. I've just never gotten around to it. I don't know why, but
You should write a satirical poem about New Jersey, making fun of New Jersey. Or just like, that would be great. I
yeah,
should do one about Idaho.
that,
I love Idaho.
I don't know if that
Hmm?
question, but I'm from North Jersey.
North Jersey? I think that's where they're from too. Holly, just comment. My sister's, I told you my sister's right here. Comment if you know where it is, because I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny.
Um,
North Jersey's like New York, and South Jersey's like Philly, and they're completely two different.
two different places. Yeah. Hopliscon? Is that what you said, sis? Hopticon? Is that it? Is
That's pretty far.
that from you?
Yeah, I think that's closer to the south.
Oh, so are you guys like nemesises? Nemesis? Huh?
I guess if you're bored and want to make rivalries, then you can. But I don't really pay it bind. I know they
Yeah.
say pork roll, and we say Taylor ham. That's honestly the only difference people kind of make fun of.
So is it cliche to ask about Jersey Shore because I live in Idaho? Like, do people from Jersey Shore actually, do you guys actually like watch Jersey Shore? Or are you just like, that's dumb? I don't watch it anymore.
Well, Jersey Shore, that show came out when I was in high school and in college, and I mean, when it came out, nobody around us really watched it. Like, we thought it was stupid because it felt like they were making fun of us, and it gave us a bad rep all around the world. So I hated Jersey Shore, but but there was a truth to it. Like, we would go to Seaside, which is where they were, and you would see them partying, and like the things that they talk about, like gym tan laundry, being a Guido, like there was absolutely truth to it. Like, there was kids like that in my high school, and like it definitely felt very real. So I feel like I didn't need to watch the show. I just kind of experienced it.
Okay, okay. I was trying to think of something I had to compare to that, but I have nothing. Nothing happens here. So I
Okay.
couldn't find my pill poem, but I found one. Um, Ask her about potatoes. Okay. All right. That wasn't the poem. That was my sister's comment. All right. This one, what did I name this one? I didn't give it a title. Suffocated lily blooms, trapped under pale skin's glow. Nights akin, dripping skin, glasses finely tipping, spinning, old feelings flow. Or was that my love gliding down ocean seams, or so it seems, I may never know. But the sun still dies, light disappearing between skies, familiar cool darkness waiting for morning's call. A freeing feeling, bold and bright, remaining the same, despite it all. Is this insane? Yes, and I'm dying. This is love.
Damn, I love that last line.
Thanks. So,
Damn.
yeah,
So,
it's interesting. I actually write most of my poems in the shower.
like with your phone or in your head?
Yeah, with my phone.
Really?
I have my morning shower. I have my evening shower, which kind of like what you said. I like get really chill. Unfortunately, I quit wine like 6 months ago, so I don't have that anymore. But I'll just start writing and writing, and then I'll start writing until I go to sleep. And in the morning, that's where the like logical side of my brain comes in, and I start, making it make flow together and be like, what the fuck did I write last night? Like, and have to cut and chop, and it feels like a puzzle.
Yeah,
Poetry does.
absolutely. It's funny because I have my best poem lines or ideas in the shower, and then I always forget about it. So my phone's not waterproof, so I don't bring it in. And then by the time I'm like ready to write down, I'm like, I have no idea what I was trying to say. Or I'll write it down, and I'm like, oh no, that was stupid. That made no sense. But I feel like I'm the poet genius in the shower. So maybe it's something about like taking a break in your day.
Telling you. Either go in the bath too and just kind of hope it doesn't, fall in, or get those crowns that kids have for the shower and write on the shower wall because it just washes off.
That's a good interesting idea.
Yeah. So, or get a waterproof phone because it's a game changer poetry wise.
I was gonna say I probably should. I feel like that's the next level of my writing is a waterproof phone.
Oh, like it's the best. I probably spend an hour and a half in the shower total each day. So I'm pretty semi-aquatic. That's where I'm at.
That's I like that. Shower thoughts hit different. I don't I
What's
don't know
that?
I don't know if it's like being in the shower and the water does something to you biologically or what it does, but shower thoughts do hit differently. Like it feels like your brain thinks differently than when you're normally going through your day.
Yeah, kind of think of it like a rubber band. Like during the day, you're like this. And then like when it gets to the evening and you relax, you just kind of like floaty, You're not as stretched out and stretched thin.
Mm.
So,
Yeah, and sometimes I'll also bring my phone in and it's not shower, and then I'm like paranoid. It's like one of those things where you have to like have like one hand over texting over like messaging over here, and the water is like over here. You're like making sure nothing falls and you're not slipping, and you know try not to embarrass yourself. So maybe I should just get a waterproof phone.
yeah. I used to laugh at my sister. She just said she used to put hers in a bag in high school. She'd be in the shower and my mom would come in and she'd be like, what are you doing? And she had her phone in a bag and she couldn't stop texting her boyfriend. Sorry, sis, but
That's dedicated.
that was teen love, I guess. All right, what do you got next, dude?
Yeah. Oh, actually, that was perfect transition because I do have. Speaking of love, um, I have a poem that I personally really like, and I have no idea if it makes sense, and I've never shared it or posted it. It
True.
hung out by itself, and I think I shared part of it to like my story, and people were like, "Oh, like you should post it," and I just kind of, I think I like it so much that I'm afraid of what the reaction would be. And you're kind of just protecting it. Um,
There's a safe place here. There's only 5 people.
yeah, I was excited. I could read it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
react.
yeah. This one's called No Solicitors. Someone came to the door with a shovel, my shovel, and said, "I have what you need." I took it and hung it to my door for everyone to see what it has seen, until it got up and walked away, which is a direction if you know where you are. The difference was noted by everyone with a nod, as if secrets favor the breathless. Someone came to the door with a plan, my plan, and said, "I've seen you swimming," which only then I noticed the ocean beneath me. In truth, I thought I was walking funny, so I misread crying for laughing. They came to the door again and said, "Go away." Underneath it all, it really did. Then it resurfaced somewhere else, playfully at first, but my memory gives no second chances, can it? Drowning is swimming for a short moment. Something here was a moment. I guessed what until the knocking came with a rhythm and soil, but that wasn't enough for anyone. What would you plant in an ocean? Someone came to the door with a door, my door, and said, "Now you will always have me." But I misplaced it, so I left doorless, which is to say I didn't leave at all, because there was nothing different, just more of what already was, like the way home means been kept out to someone first coming to the door. Yeah, there's that one. That one's No Solicitors.
And it was first on this show.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
The way you write has a really really good rhythmic flow. Kind of feels like I'm just like kind of following the words like this, you know. So I think that's a good marker of a good poem.
Yeah, actually, the one that I have like my stack here. Oh, so the book that inspired that poem was Crush, Richard Sykin. This one.
Mm-hmm.
That's a horrible way of showing it, but that book honestly is, I think, one of my favorite poetry books of all time. And I read that, and I think I literally put the book down and then wrote that poem. So it's like, yeah, I think I was definitely inspired from his cadence, and he has a very interesting rhythm of going from place to place to place, and it's like confusing, but it has a cadence, so it feels like a story. And I think that's what I was, that you get maybe confused in different parts, but there's a logical sense where you kind of piece things together, and you're like, I think I kind of get what this poem is about, even though it's like there's a door and there's a shovel and there's planting, and it's kind of about love and relationships and keeping someone out. But I was trying to take people from, this point to this point to this point to this point.
And a little bit like a mental puzzle.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
What's the door and the shovel, that could mean something to somebody else that's totally different.
Yeah, and it's one of those poems where, honestly, I didn't want to make it direct because I didn't want to give it meaning. I wanted to kind of just hint at what I was kind of trying to get at, and then let people give it meaning if they wanted to, or kind of see what they thought it meant, or what the story is, or what the symbols are.
Symbols. I have something to that.
Yeah, but I mean, I hope people like that one because I
loved it. Yeah, I liked it a lot.
I don't really know where to. I think it's not Instagram it's more like a, I don't know, a different type of poem. But
just put whatever you want on here. It's not like we're getting paid. Yeah, I'm like, oh, that probably doesn't go here. Like topless conga, and I was like, whatever. Okay. All right. Okay, all right. Where did I name this one? Dark Waters. This is one I wrote, actually. I took it and I re-edited it, but this is one like maybe 6 months after being diagnosed. And then I made it a lot better. But okay. I was completely manic, and I didn't even know it. The first time, at least. I stirred inside this lovely hue of purple and electric blue. All logic set aside, divine instruments of desire and energy to embody, to empower. A brush with the devil, a dance with danger, something sweet, something scary, something devoured. For I would have followed you anywhere had you led me. But the waters, they're black between you and I. And I can no longer see clearly, the promise hidden beneath, the one I'd come to believe, dark defeat. So.
What do you ever define, like, when you use you, this specifically, or you and I, do you ever know, do you ever keep it as a general you, or you just kind of, because I have the habit of using you in my poems and not defining the you. I was curious.
No, I never define the you, honestly. Very rarely.
Yeah,
do I define anything. Like the I or the you. It's just, that's why I love poetry. It's just, it's its own, I said this last slide, but poetry is its own language. You only know what it means but it means everything to everybody else. So everything and anything, but you can say whatever you want because nobody know. You know?
It's a good way.
So, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true. Someone asked me, they're like, "Who is the you in this poem?" I don't know. You, if you want it to be, it's kind of just a general uh, anybody. But I mean, I in that poem, it definitely made more sense to define it, so it was helpful criticism. But I agree that poetry is nice that you don't always have to define the you who you're talking about, who the audience is. You kind of just write and let it be.
Yeah. You're right in just this very gray area.
Mm.
And if someone asks, you say, I did it for you so that you could put your own meaning in. So,
Yeah, which is true.
yeah. Actually, I did the whole poem for myself, but
Yeah,
sorry, it sounds really greedy, but that's why it's here.
yeah, it's true. And sometimes it feels good to talk to yourself as in that second person, as saying you when you're talking to yourself, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. It does. To that, do you ever like when you're writing and you got this real good poem going, like you got this flow, do you ever feel like a high kind of feeling, like a poet's high?
Uh, Only if once I finish it and then I'm like proud of it, or I'll reread it and then be like, wow, that was really good. Then I'll feel something. But
So
only if
not the puzzle,
I'm proud of
not the
it.
puzzle part.
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah. I was doing that because I was comparing it. I was like, I probably shouldn't get this much of a high off of this, but it's better than wine, or drugs. So,
Yeah,
like,
that's a
yeah.
sure poetry better than wine and drugs.
Do poetry, not drugs.
Yeah, or that's a Friday night right there. Poetry, wine, and drugs. That's
Yeah.
that
Most
could,
people don't. I mean, like, I feel like a lot of people don't like wine as much as maybe I did. Like, I like dry wine. Like, I mean, like, suck the sugar right out of it. Like, dry as a rock.
yeah.
But
I know I look like super Italian and I get that all the time, but I don't drink wine. Like I feel like people, and I'm from Jersey, so people just think I'm uh, always Italian, but and Italians love wine and they assume, but no, I definitely don't like it.
yeah, well, buy wine. It's gone. I can't have it anymore. I was too much of an addict. So, okay. All right. Do you have another one?
Yeah, I think I have one more, if that's all right,
Yeah.
or two. Um, this one also, I never read out loud because I've just been working on it for so long and I don't know where to go with it. So maybe reading this out loud will actually help me put it together.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely,
Cool.
it might not make sense in certain parts. So I guess we'll see what happens.
Go for it.
But it's called Joy. When I feel joy, I know it is not mine. It is a body to hold, briefly, a mayfly fleeing in the trap. Such is the portrait of the times, a wanderer, free and footloose, so seductive and becoming. So I have always taken its name, pulled it in close for my careless obsession. Another trophy for the hall, a sanctuary to point to. My painless smile, it is a marvel. Watch how it curls in a careless foxtrot, polished and naive. Stutter stepping into the Holy Land. Give it my fingertips and my dusty soul. Let it feed until I am dry. Pin it to the creases of my cheeks. Call me pious, the fruitful desert. Euphoria in copper streets. Oh, honeysuckle cocoon. Count on me to crumble in place and call it pinnacle in May until the autumn's blessing. Joy is my victory lap in the face of despair. I will always take it and run. Yeah, kind of short.
It's great.
Thank you.
I
Nah,
feel like a lot of these lives, I'm just like this all the time. Like they'll be done reading and they're like, I'm like, my mind is blown like all the time.
yeah, I'm glad that it made sense. I have the concept, of running away from using joy as an escape, and how joy is something temporary and trying to be okay with that. I just don't know how to. I kind of want to play with it more and turn it into a bigger poem,
Mm,
and something bigger. But it is what it is for now.
really good.
Thank you.
It's talent.
I appreciate that. I appreciate all the hearts. I can't tell where the hearts are coming from. I just see.
I don't think we
I don't know.
can. We see a lot of comments. That's amazing, beautiful. So people joined. Um,
Is there a way to see who's in it? I've never.
it's the little thing at the top. It's like got like a circle and like a line over it. So we have Jim's Pen, Holly, Tales Within, Worlds Aspire, Preta Mara,
I see some friends.
Athlon. Why do you guys have to have such hard names? Yes. Live. Yeah. Okay. So was that your last one?
I have one. I have one that I pulled up. I don't even know if I'm super disorganized as a poet and as a person, but I think I always pull up. I have random drafts in my email, and I never know which one is the final one and which one is the one that I've already discarded. But
Mhm.
I think I have this one last one that I might have to edit as I'm reading it, if that's all right.
Yeah, that's fine. This is
Yeah.
a workshop now.
This will be a kind of interesting experience. But I mean, hopefully this one makes sense, and hopefully people like it, and hopefully you like it. I'll
Yeah,
know by your reaction after.
yeah. I
Maybe
have two. And or I walk out.
that's perfect. And I don't even think this one has a title. That before I say that, I was gonna say I also appreciate everyone joining that I know.
Mhm.
Like driving, listening. That's dedication. So I really,
That
really,
is.
I don't know. I'm also just super honored that people actually like my poetry. People take time to listen to it. So yeah, like that's my second
It's good
time.
stuff.
Yeah, to my friends that joined, I appreciate you. Yeah, all right. So I'll read it and then see if it makes sense or no sense. Either way, I guess I'm reading it. There's construction in the kitchen above me. So I'm yelling into Zoom meetings, into tiny faces I tricked myself into thinking are human. I'm yelling into the vibrating air, angry with interruption. I'm yelling into my own mouth just to hear my own thoughts return as an echo. When are you getting married? And I yell when I feel like it, straight into a meeting. When do you want to touch base? Let's aim for next year. How quickly do we assume what is real is real? How good am I at mass deception when I am the masses? Somehow the drone of a saw is quieter than the drone of a thought. When are you getting married is really when are you acceptable, or when are you ever where you want to be really? Do I always carry this many questions? No wonder my head is heavy on a thoughtless pillow. I'm an anvil on two shoulders of panic. Let's not mention the panic. When are you getting serious? When I feel the violence of a storm in a cloudless November. When I feel anything at all. Is this life about getting it right or getting it wrong? Which one is doing both? I crumble too easily these days. The complex silence folds under a tale I've forgotten to call my own name. Give me peace and quiet, and I will call it a storm. An echo comes again. The doubts will come before progress. The other half of empty. I'm not looking to get married. I'm searching for someone to watch your luggage when you fade into an airport bathroom. Someone to marvel at peppermint nothing. Lavender smells of the poems you left in an empty bed. Someone to have an answer to the question that is being. Is that even a real answer? Truthfully, I'm not looking anywhere at the moment but up. I'm too many unanswered questions for someone to call human. The belly of a flower, blooming from a leaky ceiling, swallows my eyes, and I see a swollen galaxy buzzing with anticipation. The kitchen will be done soon. I will not. Yeah.
I love that at the end.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wow. That was very like I could see the imagery. And it sounds like you get asked a lot of questions, which you don't like.
Yeah, well, my younger brother is married. I am not, and I I didn't mean to talk about that in that poem. I kind of just talked about always doubting yourself and always that kind of endless, voice in your head that's always feels like you're getting left behind. That always, when are you gonna get your shit together? When are you gonna,
Hmm.
know what you want to do in your life? And then just feeling like, you're getting older and older and feeling like you never
Hmm.
together, never know what you're doing, and never reach that point where you don't have those questions. And I don't know if I've internalized it from other people asking me questions of when are you gonna get married, when are you gonna, buy a house, this, when are you gonna do that, or it's kind of an internal clock of wanting to always be somewhere else or always wanting to kind of reach the next step. So that's what that poem was about, and I didn't even mean it to be about marriage and love. I just kind of, I think I had those lines and I was like, let me just shove it in there and then it makes sense.
Preach it, brother. Preach it. I feel
Well,
like, yeah, too, like for me, like at one point, I was like at the top of my career, but I didn't like it. And then COVID hit, and then like my kids needed me to teach them. And then I'm like, I found out how much identity I put in my job. Like how much of myself, I'm like, if I don't have this job, I'm not successful or whatever. But
same.
yeah, for me, I'm my own worst critic. I ask myself those questions all the time.
Yeah, yeah. No, I feel that. And that was well said also. Like the pressure to always be somewhere else other than here, it's hard even when you're not where you want to be to still have that ability to be present, and maybe not enjoying it, but mindfulness, without the pressure of anything, is I think a a skill and something important in this life. And I feel like we're quickly losing it because of all these external, pressures. But that's my soapbox.
Yeah, I saw to that. I saw that you went on like it seems like whenever I look at your story, you're just like some bougie place, and I'm sitting here in my living room, like drinking a rock star. And I'm like, oh wow, he's there. But one of them I saw was that you went on a yoga retreat.
Yeah.
Did that help with mindfulness?
Yeah. Honestly, it was amazing. Uh, it was a truly, truly amazing experience. And the hardest part was coming back. And the hardest part, as always, the hardest part is, trying to incorporate the things you learn or incorporate the things that, your positive habits into your real life. So, but on one hand, just doing yoga is something that doesn't come naturally to me as a male. I was one of two guys on this yoga retreat with the 30 people. So yoga is not really a guy thing in general, but yoga just feels amazing to breathe, to get connected to your breath, to get connected with your body, to be in a pose and have it feel right and have your body just completely relax, instead of this sitting in a chair, which I do constantly.
Hmm.
So I highly recommend it to everyone. And I mean, I travel a lot, but um, I I feel like the pictures end up bougier than where I'm actually going because I don't
Well,
really
I think it was the fact that you're like, okay, like if you were to have like a little plane, like, oh, I'm here now, and I'm like up here. I'm sounding jealous, but I'm actually just like happy envious for you.
well I appreciate it. And it's
Yeah.
Instagram really is like your highlight reel. So there'll be like weeks where I'm just working and depressed and it's raining outside and I don't go outside and no one notices that. No one notices that I don't post a story for 3 weeks. But then I'll take a vacation, you
That's
know,
true.
and for months, and then people are like, "Oh my God, like you're always traveling. Where are you?" And it's like this is what I post on Instagram. This isn't, you know, this is
I know.
this is 1% of my life.
You're supposed to post every fucking thing, okay?
Yeah,
Everything.
I post when I'm in a good mood. So that's why.
Yeah. So the
But
3 weeks you weren't in a good mood.
exactly.
All right. Well, some of you may have heard this before. I'm going to end it here, and then we're going to read some submissions if there is any. This is the Topless Conga poem. Here we go. I might get a little dramatic, but I really need to for this. So, all right. Okay. A bonfire ensues. Suddenly, all the desks get shoved to the center of the room. Tim in accounting lights the bitch up as Cindy in HR leads the Topless Conga brigade. Anarchy in the mailroom. Bob throws the mail into the flames as we all cheer. Just a few hundred hooligans reversing the score, letting loose, no longer underscored. We didn't get fired either. In fact, we got promoted. Now the water cooler flows an endless margarita fountain and the cocaine's never in short supply. Fuck, this is the best. Let's take the boss's Bentley for a little joyride too. What? He won't be upset. Sadie, wake up, wake up. Fuck, oh, what, Brazil? We both took a moment to raise an eyebrow. Jim is coming, girl. Not again. Cindy. And she wakes up. And she's like, Cindy, I know what you did. Help me out of here. Flash him or something. Cindy led the conga. So.
Snaps.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have to get more comfortable with the snaps.
Yeah. If you go to a spoken word cafe, that's, you know.
I mean, yeah. I've had some people start snapping and stuff, and I'm like this lost little white kid. Just I didn't do it. I haven't gone to a lot of spoken words. I should though.
Cindy's my hero too. Snaps for Cindy.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we all need a Cindy, but obviously that was her dream. So she just. Oh, I forgot the last line. Cindy, I know what you did. Help me out here. Flash him or something. Run.
I like that. Run. That's always the best. That sounds suspenseful. Like there's a Topless Congo Part 2 poem.
Actually, I could. I think I would want it. Office Mardi Gras.
Office Mardi Gras. That sounds like cool.
It's an HR nightmare.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. Run. Wait, run and how? Run. And now that head is playing that meme music. Yeah. Oh God, those heads that you see the run and they're like, if I was carrying, I think that's dangerous for that person. Like, I'd be scared in the middle of the night. Okay. I'm going to go to the hashtag last chances, guys. I know you guys are like rearing to go here. I'm going to put in the filter-free poetry.
You're in Idaho, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I always know like Pacific time and then mountains. I had to look it up that you guys are 2 hours behind.
Yeah, everybody forgets about us.
Yeah. So I thought it was 7 o'clock, and then I saw 7 o'clock Mountain Time, and I had to.
Yeah.
Out here.
Yep, little old Idaho.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad I made it though.
I'm glad you made it too. This has been awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Are we gonna get more sexual poems like last time? And I was like, not that they're not good. It's just reading them like cold. I just like start blushing.
7:30 a.m.
What's that?
No, someone said it's 7:30 where they are. Is that India or Philippines? Because that
I think he's in India. I think Tales with Emmy is in India. Oh my God, it's happened. Bourbon and Silk, you did me wrong. Okay.
It is just curious.
Okay.
Yeah, and as I said, I do have to drop off in a bit. 10:07 here, and I still have to eat dinner.
You haven't eaten dinner yet?
Yeah, that's a fair response. I don't know, I was feeling lazy, and it's Friday, and I was like, I don't have to wake up early tomorrow, so I could
Yeah, why not?
poetry and then I'll eat.
Let's see. I just can't read that one.
That's fair.
Pretty bad. And I'm an honest Idahoan girl. Not really. I'm just doing a little bit of a. Okay, this one's not too bad. Tonight, I am your poetic prisoner. Bind me and place me in a position for your greatest pleasure. My only request is that you would allow one hand free so that as I whisper stanzas and strung lines of poetry in your ear, and upon your being my fingers can stroke each spoken word between your legs and upon the flowers of your feminine form. As my ink spills, your nectar too will be released.
Damn.
It's a lot. He writes, like, if you are drinking a glass of wine, go to his page because he brings the heat for sure. He's a good writer too. I don't really think I have much more. Oh, I do have two more. I do. These were ones. Okay, yeah, I do. Give me a sec.
Melissa, I might have to drop off in like a minute.
Yeah, you know what? That's fine. We'll end it here. Um, yeah. Well, we'll see you guys later. The next filter-free poetry is this Wednesday at a time. I forgot the time, but it's this Wednesday, and I will put out a post. And I'll see y'all later. And yeah. Bye. Thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I saw Jerry just joined from my friends that joined. I mean, I don't even know if some people I think joined too late for the poetry, but at least you got to see my room, or anything. But yeah, I appreciated you guys listening. So thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you. All right, guys.